And we're following some breaking news right now. Orange County leaders will soon talk about how they're handling the coronavirus pandemic. Here's a live look right now inside the County Administration Center, where leaders are expected to start their news conference about 4:15 this afternoon. Of course, we will bring it to you live once it begins. Right now, let's take a look at the latest numbers from the Florida Department of Health. Officials reported more than 500 new coronavirus cases today, bringing the state total to more than 30,000. They also reported 25 more deaths, including one in Volusia County. And the number of positive cases in Central Florida counties is on your screen right now. Marion and Lake counties are the only ones in Central Florida not to report a new case overnight. There have also been more than 286,000 negative cases.
And over the next 2.5 hours, our team of reporters will bring you news stories about the impact of the coronavirus on our community and what's being done to fight it. And again, we'll take you to Orange County as they brief us on this Friday about the reopening plan and also these latest numbers. That's just ahead live here on Channel 9. First, the state's troubled unemployment website is closed today and through the weekend, and you can't access it again, we're told, until Monday at 8 in the morning. There is an option on the website for people who need to file a new application for reemployment assistance. This comes as we learn that the state has paid just under 22% of claims since mid-March. Only about 31% of the claims have been processed. Staff will be working all weekend to process applications. Officials say workers can do that faster when the website is actually down.
We needed all the processing power we could get to process payments. We have a number of large batch jobs that were ready, and rather than place a lot of drain on the system today and over the weekend, we said, let's take it down.
Claimants are not able to check for updates to their status this weekend, but hopefully money will start to flow their way soon. And how the state of Florida handles a hurricane during COVID-19 will depend on when the storm hits and just how strong the storm is. The reopened Florida Task Force was briefed today on what the state is considering. The response will no doubt look a lot different than it has in the past. As Channel 9 Shannon Butler explains, the state is considering what to do about shelters, hotels, and our food supply.
How the state handles hurricanes this year will look a lot different, and that could mean if a Category 1 storm hits, you may be safer to stay than go.
Perhaps what we do is we issue you a stay-at-home order rather than an evacuation order.
But the state wants people to be able to if a Category 5 storm comes barreling down on Florida. But it's unclear if opening shelters would be safe. And money is an issue. Right now, people are struggling with job loss and closed businesses.
We don't want affordability to be a reason why they decide to stay.
So the state could get people things like gas cards and food vouchers, but that doesn't help with the issue of supply. Store shelves have already been wiped out of things like toilet paper for weeks. And now there's a concern that if a hurricane hits in June, we might not have what we need if the power goes out. So they're working with stores like Walmart to make sure they are stocked. There are a lot of unknowns, but what state officials say they do know is that out-of-state volunteers won't be making their way to Florida like they do during other storms. Among other issues, PPP gear isn't available for everyone, and that includes those utility workers who usually are lined up ready to restore your power. That means your lights could be slower to get back on. In Orlando, Shannon Butler, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, Shannon, the state is also trying to figure out how hotels will factor in. Right now they are closed and it's unclear when it will be safe for them to reopen. Hotels play a part, of course, in housing out-of-state utility crews and even evacuees. This afternoon, President Trump signed that new $484 billion relief bill to help small businesses and hospitals. And as ABC's Ines de la Cuetara reports, the measure adds to the already historic levels of spending to deal with the pandemic.
President Trump today signing a new $484 billion relief bill passed by the House last night.
With that, I'll sign the bill.
The measure includes funding for hospitals, increasing nationwide testing, and small businesses, as new numbers from the Labor Department show more than 26 million Americans filed for unemployment in the last 5 weeks.
If we're not able to pay our bills, then what's next? Like, what's going to happen?
But the bill does not include money for state governments. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell now facing criticism for suggesting states should declare bankruptcy so as to receive financial aid. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo calling that a dumb idea, arguing New York pays more into the federal treasury than any other state.
You want to send an international message that the economy is in turmoil? Do that. I dare you to do that.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also weighing in.
Speaking of Mitch, what's gotten into him? Well, it's an indication. The president is asking people to inject Lysol into their lungs, and Mitch is saying that states should go bankrupt.
Pelosi referring to a moment from the president's briefing Thursday where he asked his medical experts if disinfectant or ultraviolet light could be injected into the body as a treatment for COVID-19. The makers of Lysol even issuing a warning telling consumers not to do that. Trump now claiming he wasn't being serious.
I was asking a question sarcastically to reporters like you just to see what would happen.
Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, Washington.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi revealed House Democrats are now crafting yet another relief bill. Pelosi says she'd like it to include $700 billion for state and local governments. Vanessa?
Volusia County is now working toward reopening the beach in phases.
The approaches at 3rd Avenue and New Smyrna Beach, Dunlawton Boulevard and Daytona Beach shores, and Williams Avenue and Daytona Beach will be open for ADA access only.
That starts tomorrow. There will be workers at the ramps to verify access. Drivers must space out their vehicles, though, and officials have formed task groups to discuss how to reopen the county. Now, antibody testing is coming to Volusia County. The testing is expected to be more sophisticated and will tell you if you have already been exposed to COVID-19. Channel 9's Volusia County reporter Mike Springer explains how you can get that test done.
The Volusia County Fairgrounds are closed off today, but on May 4th, this is where antibody testing for the coronavirus will happen. State Representative David Santiago says they'll be able to do up to 500 tests the first day. No appointments necessary.
This test will be available to anyone. And remember, the antibodies test is not to determine whether you have the virus at the time. It's only to determine whether you've been exposed to the virus and if you have the antibodies.
Drive-by testing to see if people have the coronavirus opened in Volusia County at 4 different locations just a few weeks ago. Santiago says doing the antibody testing is the next step.
This test is the more sophisticated one. You may have seen in South Florida, I believe they were doing where they pierced your finger and they got a small sample of blood. This will be an actual blood draw that is more sophisticated and more accurate.
Santiago adds the additional testing will go a long way toward helping the economy reopen.
Everybody's talking about this next phase and how do we open up the economy. It's all about testing. People want to know whether they had it, whether you have the antibodies to feel a sense of comfort and relief to get back engaged into the economy.
Representative David Santiago says that if you have insurance, that should cover the cost here for the test. If you don't, he says it should be at no cost to you whatsoever. Reporting in Volusia County, Mike Springer, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Testing will begin at 8:30 on May 4th. Now, the other testing sites at the Daytona Beach Card Club and the one in Deltona will both move to the fairgrounds as well.
Today, stormy weather forced officials to shut down several drive-through testing sites. The Family Health Source in Deltona is closed until Monday, and pop-up testing was supposed to happen today at the Journey Academy in Sanford, and that has now been pushed back to April 30th. Fast for Orange County. Appointments for the mobile testing site at West Orange Park have been rescheduled now for Monday. Meantime, the first drive-through testing site in North Brevard County is scheduled to open Monday. Crews are setting it up at the Parish Health and Fitness Center on Cheney Highway in Titusville. You must make an appointment through Parish Healthcare before showing up at the site. Workers will collect your insurance information, but there are no out-of-pocket costs for that test. And remember, you can always find a complete list of the testing sites in each Central Florida county and their requirements. It's easy to find. Just go to our website, WFTV.com.